Hello, hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our community meetup. I'm Pelumi, a front-end developer at Convoy, and we're here today to update you guys on what we've been up to with Convoy, basically. So, as you all know, we all know what we provide. We provide webhooks as a service. So today we're going to share with you how you could use Convoy, and we're also going to share with you our latest updates. Now, Convoy can receive webhooks. That will be like the highlight of this meetup. The fact that we can now receive webhooks, and also we are adding custom sources, so you can receive webhooks from platforms like GitHub, Twitter, and so on. So for now, I'm going to hand over to Shibomi so he can enlighten us about basically all our updates, our features and whatnot. So enjoy. Shibomi, yeah.
Hi, everybody. All right, welcome to this series. I am going to share my screen and walk us through very quickly what the agenda would look like. Please signal to me when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So Convoy 0.6 demo. The agenda we're going to be working with is really simple. I'm going to walk us through getting started with Convoy, talk about the upcoming features, what we are currently building this month, and then we go into question and answers. So we'll take the first part, which is deploying Convoy and running Convoy on DigitalOcean, then take the second part, which is what we are currently building, then have Q&A. So I think Pelumi forgot to mention, but you can start dropping your questions in the chat or write your questions whenever you have a question. And when we get to the Q&A, we'll pick up the questions. So yeah, getting started with Convoy. We'll dive straight into it. So from our last release, 0.6, we created a one-click deployment, one-click application on DigitalOcean. If you come to the marketplace and you search for Convoy, it's right there. So what I'm going to do now is, I think I can move this guy. Okay, yeah. Can I collapse this guy? What I'm going to do now is to create an application on DigitalOcean and follow through with our documentation on how to set this up. Yes, so let's start. So DigitalOcean enables you to customize the VM to what you want, depending on your workload. But for this demo, I'll just go with the regular system, $12 per month, 2 gig RAM and 50 SSD, which is fine. I'll select all my SSH keys, give me monitoring, all these are free. And Convoy server demo. Oh, so I have an instance already. I'm just going to destroy this. All right, then I'm going to do this again. Yes, So my instance is being provisioned. If I come to droplets, I'll see my instance is being provisioned. So just wait. This takes less than. All right, this takes less than a minute or thereabouts. So while this is coming up, I will log into my DNS provider. All right. So what I will do is I will set up Convoy as a subdomain to my personal DNS. Okay, this is up. Now I have the IP address. Take the IP address and set it up on this guy. So had the A record, Convoy maps to this guy. And we save. Now I have Convoy at chubomioluwalana.com. If you go to the URL now, you probably not see anything yet. Yes. So now let's set that up. If you come here, the instruction says do the one-click deployment, head over to your DNS, configure it, then copy SSH into your machine and run this. So I will copy this. Oh, SSH. Oh, I need to first copy something else. Copy my IP address again. SSH. Yes. Copy. All right, now I'm inside here. I'm going to do this. And now the system automatically, the install script automatically sets up TLS for me. So do I want the TLS setup? Yes, my domain name is convoy.chubomi.com. And yes. To automatically provision all right. It's to automatically provision all the services needed. Internally, it uses a Docker Compose file, provisioning all the dependencies and the all the necessary services required. All right, this Convoy looks up, done. So I need to come back here and reload this guy. Sure. All right. Something looks weird. Okay, what's wrong? All my services are up. DNS is up. Let me check this 1 second. Try clearing the cookies. What's wrong? God of demos. Okay. Too many redirects. So let me check this again. Yep, same thing. Whew. Not too long. Okay, we are here finally. Okay, so the next thing is the system automatically provides you with authentication, which you should change once you have your instance up. So the authentication is superuser at default.com. Default. Right. Superuser at default.com default. So ideally, when this is for first time sakes, you should remove this or change this when you're in enable analytics. The analytics that the system takes out are anonymous, so we cannot identify whoever is pushing the analytics to us. The analytics just enables us to understand how users are using it and what we should improve over time, if that makes sense. So these are completely anonymous data. Okay, so now you're in. So first thing you want to do is create an organization, say company to change the world. Company 1 or company 2. Let's do company 1. All right. Now in my organization, I'll create a project. Now there are two types of projects, really. This is one of the different things we did in this system. Now Convoy support bidirectional webhooks. It means that you can receive events with Convoy and you can publish events with Convoy. And on a high level, you have to differentiate that from the project type. So if I say company ingest, I want to create a project that can receive webhooks from my application. I specify it as ingest, specify my headers. Now, what will happen in an incoming scenario is events will come in from your provider, be it Paystack, be it Twilio, wherever the events are coming from, they will all come into Convoy. And then Convoy would take those events and send them to your backend using this configuration. So on your backend, you only need one verification logic, X Convoy signature. You specify the hash 512. You specify the retry logic, exponential or linear time, 10 seconds, limits. Same thing for rate limiting. But what we did with the rate limiting, what we did with this configuration is This configuration is what will support all your providers. So whether the event is coming from GitHub, from Twitter, from Stripe, you just need this configuration to validate events on your controller. Yes, your controller in your application, Rails, Django, whatever. And then, yeah, you're up. Once you create a project, we generate you an API key, which you should save. And then we walk you through an onboarding. So the onboarding is literally, first you create an application. So application means my backend application. So I'm just going to put fly.io backend, right? You can put an email, support at company. So for URL, I'm going to generate a webhooks.site URL. Why does this happen every time? Okay. Yeah, no, backend URL. And the timeout for this URL is 10 seconds. Once you create an application, the next thing you want to do is you want to create a source. So a source represents paystack, right? For every source has a URL mapped to it. Then you take that URL and you provide it to paystack, or you provide it to Stripe, Shopify, whoever the provider is. So I'll name this guy. Should I? No. I'll name this guy Shopify. No. Sorry. No. I'll name this guy Paystack. You suggest ingestion HTTP, depending on how the provider verifies webhooks. For example, if you are doing Mono does API keys. If you are doing some other people that do basic odds, you specify basic odds. But Paystack does HMAC. Yeah, and then you specify the configuration. Do they do base 64 encoding or X? They do hash algorithm 512 and X Paystack signature. And you specify your webhook secrets, basically, and you create the source. Once you are done creating a source, you then create a subscription. Now, the subscription is the conduit, is what is what takes an event from a source down to an application and down to the endpoint. And so I do something like Paystack to backend subscription. I select my Paystack source, I select my Fly.io backend, and I select the backend URL. Now you notice this toggle here, which is hard mode configuration. What's happening here implicitly is if you want to create custom configuration for like rate limiting or retry that differs from the project configuration, this is where you do it. So it means that each subscription can have their own configuration for rate limiting and retries and notifications that differs from the project's global. But for this one, I would not create that and just go ahead to create my subscription. So I have my application, my Fly.io backend, and my backend URL. I have my source. If you notice, the system automatically uses Convoy.Shubomi now and provides me with my URL. So I can copy this out. I can click on it and edit it and change it. And if I come here, I see my subscription. So I can see my application backend, the endpoint URL, and Paystack. And then what you can also see here is this subscription. Sorry. Yes, this subscription will receive all events from Paystack. So now that I have this URL, I'm going to supply that URL to Paystack and we'll see how that works. Please don't forget to jot your questions before I get there. So this is up. I will, let me see. This is a test paystack account. This is my test environment. I will, 1 second. Copy. All right, so I have copied my my tests, this URL to paystack, and one more thing I have to change is this. So I'll edit this, the webhooks sign-in secrets for my test instance. All right, so now I'm going to generate an event from paystack, and it should come into my newly set up Convoy instance. Okay, I've generated one, and I'm going to reload this. Okay, so event is yet to come. Let me generate another one. Confirm. Where is paystack event? I'm going to try another one. So I'll create another invoice. I know events are generated on invoices. Nope. All right, so what type of events do we get? Invoice created. Okay, so I'm going to generate another invoice. Um, And let's look at this. This is X. Okay. A64. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time.
So while Shirome is trying to get that done, hi everyone, I'm Emmanuel. We have a limited time left on this meeting, right? So I'll let him just do his final test that he wants to do, and if we can all please join the call back, so we can just get to continue with the call. Thank
Yes,
you.
so we can use the same link to just come back into the call.
Yeah, simple to come back to the call. So I think the event parameter.
Yeah, so the event came through this time. Apparently, when the source fails to verify the event, it doesn't show on the UI. And that was because I had base 64 here instead of X, right? And now we can see the event on the UI. And then if you click on deliveries, you can see the events going to the endpoint. Webhooks aside, yes, yeah, they're all coming through. Now, did you guys notice that Paystack did a retry, and because the authentication mechanism changed, now we can receive the event from even the first, yes, the first one that I sent. Okay, so now the difference here is that's like incoming, right? You can receive events from your providers. And one of the things we are thinking on this dashboard, the first thing that is possible today is if you look at this, you can search through the payload that comes through with this search bar. So if I do 4,000, one comes back. Okay, I'm going to clear the filter and I'm going to do 4,000. I'm going to do, okay, demo, right? The event comes through. This is obviously a bug. If I click on the delivery, clear. This is demo, and this is test, right? So essentially, this search bar enables you to like debug on time what is wrong between the payload, depending on if you have context to what is inside the payload. So if I do test, one event comes through. If I do demo, just one. So once you clear it, you have your two events. And then I can come through my deliveries and you can see a broader view of what's happening here, the request headers and the response headers. And at this point, all you need to do on your side is just have Convoy verification. Sorry. Now that's one part of sources. Now the second part of sources is the custom sources, which I would talk about when we join the call from this one, like when we rejoin. I think I'll just stop sharing now and allow us rejoin. Okay, I think we are back. Can you guys hear me well?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. Tell me, can you help me? I can't share my screen again. Okay, I'm back.
Please try again.
Yeah, I think I'm back. Nice. Yeah, so that's the first part of sources. The second part of sources is some sources are not as straightforward, right? Like, so if I come here and I say I want to create a source for random company, right? I'm not playing music. And I do ingestion HTTP. Some sources are straightforward, like you can literally do HMAC or API key or basic auth and you are fine. But some are not straightforward, like GitHub. So if you look at the documentation on GitHub, you see something like, let me just do GitHub webhooks. You see something securing your webhooks. Yes, you see something along this fashion, right? All the signatures that come from GitHub are prefixed with SHA-256. So what we are currently doing is we are building custom sources. And again, this will also be based on requests. We have two ideas. So this is something that will also come up in Q&A. We have two ideas. The first is we are building some of them internally, like GitHub. So we had to write a custom logic to wrap around HMAC internally to do GitHub. So you can easily specify anything that is your secret, really, and create random, I'll name this random GitHub, right? And create a source. Now, you can see that this guy names it HMAC, but if you look at the code, what we are doing is we are wrapping around our HMAC implementation for GitHub. And so there are several of them like that. For example, Twitter has a more detailed approach on how they verify that you are the owner of the URL. But basically, the thesis for us is Convoy should enable you terminate all incoming events and enable you publish events, really. So we are adding some more custom sources that are like very popular, like Twitter, like Shopify. Shopify as well is not straightforward, like Twitter, Shopify. And we'll be adding more sources based on request. The other idea is to create since it's open source again, is to create a system where users can write their own modules and dynamically run it or build their own Convoy instance with some form of verification at runtime. So imagine you are receiving events from some weird provider that has some implementation of their own that Convoy does not provide out of the box. Can we enable you write your own dynamic libraries that you can load up in runtime, which is one of the ideas we're exploring. So yeah, we'll talk about that in Q&A. Yeah, so for all the sources that support straightforward, you can receive events from them, basic auth, HBAC, and API key, and GitHub for today. Yeah. And that is the end for subscriptions. Before I go to the other parts, I want to quickly show you how to change your password. It's pretty straightforward, but ideally, once you come in the first time, you just change your password here. And then you can invite your team members so you can debug together. So now I want to look into how to go in webhooks, really. And so you create your company API, right? Again, the same thing applies here. You can say company or no, what? Elon signature, no, what? I don't know. Now for this one, you definitely need to copy your API key because while incoming is dashboard heavy in configuration, outgoing is more programmatic because customers will come to your dashboard and go through their workflow in a programmatic fashion. And you as well, you want to just call API. Same thing that you do already with Convoy today, really. So I'll just keep my API key somewhere I can retrieve it. All right. And I'm going to cancel this, really. I'll come back here and I will, can you guys see my insomnia?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to set this up to you. Oh no. Convoy. Where's my API key? I'm just going to test that this works. Okay. This part. Okay, this works. So the first thing you do is normal, create your application. Going to save this guy out. Yeah. App ID. And I'll create my endpoints. Oh, what? Okay. All of this should reflect on my dashboard. Where is it? I reload. Yeah, should show my dashboard. I noticed that it's showing the app portal now, which we understand the use case. But I'm going to come to it in a bit. So now I have my application, I have my endpoints. Then I'm going to subscribe my applications to events. So now, creating a subscription requires me to provide my app ID, my endpoint ID, and the event types I want. Now, in the former, like Convoy 0.5 didn't require a subscription, but now, because we need to find a way to publish event and receive event, we need to create something called a subscription, which is like literally the pipe. It's what holds receiving events from a data source like that. Think of it like a data source and maps it to an endpoint, really. So we are mapping an application endpoint to this. This won't work. Endpoint not found. Yeah. So now if you notice, if you look at it, like what I said before, it's possible to have, it's possible to be an API provider and you have high volume customers than low volume customers, right? And for some of them, you want to have custom configuration for how they do retries, how you get notifications. Again, subscriptions allow you to do that. So if I don't specify a subscription configuration here, it's use the global settings. But if I have a particular customer I'm curious about, or I want to have special configurations for, I can do it like this, like simple. I can do it like this. So I can go to the interface and look at all the subscriptions and say, you know what, this is for one customer that I don't want to say a super story about, and configure my notifications to be faster. Like if anything is down on this subscription, I want to know ASAP. And yeah, and that's pretty neat, I think, because yeah, you as an API provider, you have customers that are super important. You have times you want to care for some people, or you want to make sure that this channel of webhooks delivery is giving me 99% uptime, while somebody else is maybe 80%, but based on how much they are paying or what tier the customer is in. Yeah, and that is how you set up subscriptions for outgoing now. I won't be able to do a demo of publishing this because apparently Digital Ocean has refused to update our marketplace application. So there was a bug we noticed in the marketplace application, and we fixed it and we sent it for review. But apparently it takes like 2 days for Digital Ocean to like review your marketplace application. So if I try to push an event now, it won't work. But before the end of today, it will definitely be up. Yeah, because it takes them like 2 days. Yeah, we released this like 2 days ago and uploaded it. This is the release candidate 0.4 on the 0.6. So that is spinning up Convoy on Digital Ocean using the marketplace, setting up your DNS and running an instance, inviting your team members and debugging events on the dashboard. Now I'll talk very quickly on what we are building now, and then we'll go into Q&A. So we have this for sort of PRDs or spec documents or what we are thinking about. We'll start with retention policies. So again, like webhooks are like transient data, right? Depending on your industry, if you're in payments, you probably want longer, like you want to hold the data for a longer time period before you archive them in the DB. Or you want to, if you're not payment and you have slimmer restrictions, can you guys hear me now? Someone should give me a signal if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
All right, I'm back. So yeah, depending on your industry and depending on what you are trying to solve, or depending on your data requirements, really, you want to retain some data in the DB to be able to search, query, and do whatever. And some of them just want to like archive. And so we're doing retention policies. Retention policies are a way of you configuring per your project what events you want to keep in the DB and what events you want to send to S3. So you set up your S3 configuration, and Convoy automatically sends the events to cold storage, and you have the remaining that you can query over and do other things on. Yes, there isn't so much to say on retention policies, but retention policies work in a very simple way. If you set your retention policies 3 months, that means you would only be able to look through 3 months of data on the UI, and the rest of them go to cold storage. That keeps the system light. If you're deploying on a single node, it means you don't have to worry about hyperscale or whatever, because you just need a simple scenario. Whereas if you need to keep 6 months or 9 months, then you want to worry about how you deploy that. Yes, and that's retention policies. I know I'm saying a lot. Please let the questions come in Q&A. We are almost at Q&A time. And so my favorite, CLI. So the CLI is going to enable you debug events on your local machine, right? So we have experiences like this today, and not everybody provide experiences like this. I don't know if you guys can see my symbol. I'm going to increase this. Yes, so you can do stuff like this where Stripe allows you to do Stripe login, and they open up to your browser. Come on. you? Oh, Stripe. Oh. One second. Let me move this out first. Okay, this is ready. Yeah, so Stripe gives you this you want CLI access, you allow access, and you come in and you're logged in, right? They say, please note this API key will last you for 90 days, at which point you have to re-authenticate. And then you can proceed to do stuff like Stripe listen, and you forward this event to your local machine, right? Everything customer created, forward to your local machine. If I close this, and like this is like one of the most important things in like your webhooks toolchain. Invoice created. Most people would sorry. Most people would use something called like ngrok, sorry, or custom solutions. But yeah, Stripe provides this experience out of the box. You can listen for events and you can forward them to your local machine while debugging. And that's exactly what we are doing with the CLI and more, really. Yeah, more. So we want to expand the use of our CLI to enable you to test events easily, right? With your Convoy instance setup, you can, where is it? I'm just going to come here. Yes. With your Convoy instance setup, events come through and then they run through a subscription, they run through a WebSocket server, and they come to your local machine. In the former scenario, you have to go through this app route. You create an application, specify an endpoint that ngrok gives you, and then route to your local machine. The problem here is most people don't use paid ngrok accounts. And so ngrok does not even allow you to provide more than one URL per time. You have to just like use one. But if you wanted to test multiple scenarios, you have to find other ways to do it. But with this, you would be able to do, yes, this is it. The commands that are supported is one. No, this is not the first command I want to talk about. You'll be able to log in, right? You'll be able to log in with an API key, depending if you host your instance, Convoy, shipome.com, you would see all your projects from the CLI. Your project will be saved, and then you will be able to switch between projects depending on what you are testing. And you would be able to listen on events. And this is how it works in the background. It will, your remote Convoy, you listen, you send it to your server. Internally, it's a server, it's a WebSocket server with a WebSocket client and a normal HTTP server. And yeah, this is the architecture of how it works underneath. And the last but not the least, this mirrors custom sources. We are currently working on Twitter, Shopify, and PagerDuty. And PubSub. PubSub is saying that if you look at the UI again, I should move this to the front. Yeah, PubSub and retention policies. So if you look at this guy again, if you you realize we have something here called PubSub and DB change stream that coming soon. So the idea here is for scenarios where you have like high volume events and you don't want to push them over HTTP. It should be possible. Like, I think that it should be possible, not just I think, we think that it should be possible to drop this event on like a queue, right? Like drop it on like SQS, yes, Amazon SQS, Google pops up, this message brokers, and Convoy can read them off and send them out. And that's what pops up is all about. We are creating a way where you can provide us with a URL, you drop it on it, and we pick it up and we push it out. And that's much more reliable than HTTP for scenarios that you can publish it. And that brings me to the end of this session. We go straight into Q&A. If there are any questions that have been dropped, you can take them now, or if you want to unmute your mic and no, yes. Do we have any questions? No questions at all. Well, was there any question in the chat before at the other session?
No, there was none.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I have a question.
We have a question in the chat as well.
Okay, can I continue?
Yeah, please go on. Go on.
So we were talking about under the Ingress part, we were talking about custom validation of having the custom validation of books. I don't think you talked about it enough. Is it possible right now to do that if my provider does not have a sort of special implementation for completion of their books? Is there a provision for that already?
I think the question is there a solution for if your provider does not support any of these types?
Yeah.
Okay, if your provider does not support any of these types, you have to like file a request for it.
Okay. So because there's actually okay, no problem. I think that is it.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, you would have to file a request for it. But most providers, like the majority of providers go with this, but some of them build some mechanisms around it, which make it just difficult to do out of the box.
Because the particular provider I have, apart from although they use HMAP, but aside that, you still need to this extra step for the validation, which has to do with define the what we call scaling, the web scaling or not.
Oh, replay attacks.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes So I think what we will do is we will create a configuration that enables you to specify like how long you want to set your replay attack configuration to be. So if you want to reject events that stay like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, we can specify a configuration for that. I don't know if that solves the problem.
I think that is wrong way. But you're not open to allowing people have sort of photo on the installation that allows this custom.
I'm struggling to hear you, honestly.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I said, but you don't have it on your roadmap to add what's it called, the custom validation. Let's say if, for example, if I have I believe this particular investor is available on standalone installation of Convoy, right?
This particular configuration.
Now, I mean this ingress feature. It is available on a standalone installation of Convoy, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's all from me.
Okay. I think there's a question in the chat.
Yes, Vijay is asking if Convoy can handle concurrent requests. There's an additional message here.
In my case, I will use Convoy source with GitHub, GitLab. Can you handle if webhook is triggered? Yes, definitely. Yeah, you can handle it. Yeah, you can handle it. It can. And can handle thousands of requests per minute. Yes. I mean, we've not run benchmarks, but it should be able to handle thousands of requests per minute. Any other questions or feedback?
So again, on the ingress part, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
On the ingress part, apart from the body of the request that we get, I know that there are some cases whereby your provider still attaches information in the header that you probably want to use. So is it only the body of the request you'll be sending to the what do you call the apart from the source, you use the term for the service that will be receiving the webhook.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's a known, it's not a bug, it's a feature that is not present. So what we are currently doing is Convoy will filter out, Convoy will forward all the events. Convoy will forward all the headers, right? So that's not present today. We are only forwarding the body, but we are going to forward the headers by the end of this month. It's one of the things we're currently working on. So it will forward the payload as well as forwarding the headers. And it will only add its own headers, right? But it will forward all the headers. So we did a demo with GitHub and we saw that GitHub actually sends like more headers, like you said. So yes, we are working on it. Actually, we are working on it. There should even be a GitHub issue for that, but yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up. Any other questions?
There's another question in the chat box.
Oh yeah, it's the same question. No, it's a different question. Are we running out of time again? Oh my. No, yes, we are currently working on this too. So we are currently working on this too. You would be able to forward the headers from the source and you would be able to add your own, headers. It's not currently possible, but it's going to be possible by the end of this month. We're going to raise GitHub issues for this. So by the end of the month, you'll be able to add your own headers to what is forwarded.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So still on the ingress of everything, perhaps it seems my question is basically around ingress. Well, it's because it's should I say, I was actually thinking about building something around that at my company some weeks ago, and I know that should I say, like around 6 months ago, I got my company using Convoy and all, and this so this particular issue is this. Convoy is a tool that is for, I mean, is, should I say, a software that is meant for developers to use, not the regular everyday person, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So now I feel that that feature uh of allowing people write what's it called, a custom module for validation of webbook. I think that feature would be really good if you attach that. Yeah, because one, I feel that it would reduce, um you would you would focus on things that would actually improve the product, that is Convoy itself, than answering than getting to do
Integration.
what was it called, integrations, yeah, than get it to do that. So your priority would be improving the product, not just integrating things that anybody should, that a regular contributor can do. You get.
That makes sense.
So yeah.
That makes sense. We thought about it too, but now that you say it, I think he also, I'm just going to write that down. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up, really. Thank you for bringing
Thank you. Thank you for your work on Convoy.
It's not my work. I'm just the one talking. My team members are on the call. They are the ones doing most of the work. But yeah.
On Convoy.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope Shibomi was able to shed more light on and make everyone understand what we've been up to. You can check us out. You can check our repo out. I'm sending our GitHub link to the chat box. You can check us out. You can give us GitHub stars as well. On our README file, you can also join our Slack community so you can get more information. You can ask any question, will always be available for you. So if you have any questions you might want to ask, you can just join our Slack channel and, ask away. So thank you guys for joining. Please, our next community meetup, share with your friends, share with your dev friends so they can, join and get to know about Convoy. Thank you all for attending this meetup.
Bye, guys.
All right then. Bye, guys.
Bye.